Board of Selectmen to order. First on the agenda, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance. Good luck. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Actually heard it that loud.
Resounding.
I guess first and foremost, I'd like to apologize for maybe not moving this meeting to a different venue tonight. If we have further meetings on this, that will certainly be considered, trust me. We do apologize for the cramped quarters. We've made every accommodation we can, and we will do better the next time if we're going to continue to get this kind of interest. Unfortunately, we have a few things prior to what I think brings everybody out. So we first is a public hearing for a CMP line clerk new service permit, Pension Ridge Road. Dane?
And you can see, I think it fits all the guidelines, all the setbacks, and it falls within the right-of-way. So this is pretty much standard.
approve.
Second.
I got a motion that's been made and seconded. All those in favor, or any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
How has CMP been taking down the old broken poles?
All right.
Not great.
Not great. So do we hold off and hold their feet to the fire and tell them to get rid of the old ones before we approve new ones?
I'd like to see them do a better job of taking them down. I mean, they don't need to be there once they put in a new pole.
Well, they tend to rot and look like heck.
It takes a long time for those to rot.
No, but I mean, they look awful.
Yeah.
So the follow-up for me is to find out what their policy is on taking down broken poles.
I would suggest that, and suggest it strongly to them that they need to start taking them down, or we may wait the next time they want a pole.
So am I hearing a vote in play, but with a contingency on it?
A strongly worded recommendation to them.
Fair enough. All right. All those in favor? So moved. All right. This is a dangerous thing to do right at the moment. Next on the agenda is public comment. If they're going to pertain to what I think draws everybody here, we would like to wait until that comes to the agenda. Okay, Martin?
I'm here to tell you that we're in violation of fire code for having too many people into this room for this meeting, and therefore it should be moved to somewhere else where they would not, so that everybody can hear what's going on. We're taking and violating our own codes that we've taken, put onto our private citizens, and under the Constitution, we're not supposed to turn around and violate our own codes as far as the government is compared to what the citizens. If you require a citizen to do it, you have to do it yourself.
I couldn't agree with you more, to be honest with you, Martin. I just, to shuffle at this point in time, and I don't even know if we have a venue available.
Reschedule it for like tomorrow night at the fire station or something.
Well,
There's the town hall at the railway village.
but to go back one, this isn't a public hearing. This
It doesn't
isn't,
matter, we're in violation of the code meeting.
right.
And if it's not a public hearing, and it was supposed to be a public hearing, it was supposed to be notified.
No, it was not, it's not a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing.
It's supposed to be we'd be in violation of that, because you have to have.
Oh, we're well aware of that. It's not a public hearing. It's strictly a selectmen's meeting with people coming to present an idea before the selectmen.
And that's all. So, I mean, yes, it's unfortunate, or I shouldn't say unfortunate, because actually I like seeing this many people participate. But there was no way for us to foresee this. So, we are, in all fairness, speaking for myself alone, as one person of this board, I'm completely in favor of moving this to a different venue, a bigger venue where everybody can hear and see. I want to know what the masses out there think.
Bottom line, are we in violation of a?
I believe we are. That's not my area of expertise, but yes, I would believe we are at this point in time. Yes, Skip.
It's the right thing to do. Because there are people who cannot get in
It's a safe thing.
It wasn't a public hearing.
Right. Oh, I suggest the school all the time. I get a lot of pushback because it's not in the town of Boothbay. But there are other venues where we can figure something out and advertise, but the reality of it is, I think, right now, our duty per Martin is to make sure that we fall back within fire codes. We actually have to ask people to leave. Which is not what any of us really want to do, but it is the right thing to do. I agree. Gentlemen?
No, I agree with you.
Yes.
Is this going to be televised, this presentation?
Yes, it is.
Will it be on Channel 7 tomorrow night?
It will. I don't know about.
Being streamed right now.
I don't,
Excuse me?
it's being live streamed right now, and I can't speak if Channel 7 will have it on tomorrow night, but Channel 7 will be airing it at some point in time down the road.
John Trees is in the back room right now, and he's burning the DVD.
There's 3 cameras that are recording all the time in here. So we could continue with this, and people will have a chance to at least view what the proposal is.
Can we wait 20 minutes for us all to get home?
The reality of it is, it's gonna be at least 20 minutes anyways, because we have a bunch of stuff to go over
Before we
before.
get to it.
Before this actually even happens. So if you want to go home and bring us up and stream, you're welcome to do so.
All you have to do is go on the Town of Boothbay's website. It's right there. You can live stream it. It's just like you're sitting here. We just can't hear you gasp or go ooh or ah.
Yes.
I understand this is one of many meetings.
Well,
Nothing is decided tonight, it's just.
This is just an initial presentation.
that's all this is a presentation. Yes.
Okay, how many are supposed to be in here according to code?
Martin, do you have any idea?
I don't have the figures right now, but you're supposed to have it, actually, you're supposed to have it listed on your wall somewhere, so they can see it.
I think it's on that.
It
I think it's
is.
on the plan right there.
It is, it's on the plans by the door.
I think it's on that.
Okay, you'll pass it across, right?
There's no numbers on that.
Okay.
So do I have to call our fire chief and have him start evacuating people out of this building? I really am, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do here.
So normally, if you were,
Right.
I mean, that's, again, it was a private venue, I don't know.
I'm surprised how many people I can hear out in the back.
Well, I find myself in a very awkward position here. I should have known coming into this meeting tonight I would. So I guess what we're gonna have to do, out of just pure being the correct and right thing to do, is those that are not in this room currently as we speak really need to leave the building and try to get us back to a,
Compliance.
right, they're saying no. Yes, Martin?
Hey, can I make a recommendation?
Absolutely.
Could you just table that Route 27?
Thank you.
And put that somewhere else for a meeting? Everything else will be fine. Everybody will leave.
And advertise it a little better.
And the other thing is you probably want to update that capacity.
Yeah, there's no,
When that was established,
yeah,
you
that-
didn't have all of this. All the guests and take it away.
yeah.
Why not limit this to the Boothbay citizens? We're the ones that need to see it.
I think it's the whole Boothbay region affected by this. The whole region.
Not just Boothbay.
And if one can't do this,
Excuse me. This is still a public meeting. I'm open for suggestions here, gentlemen. Do we table this until another night? Please, feel free, Steve.
So, I mean, it's fine to come back at the next selectmen's meeting on March 9th.
Well, I think if we're gonna do it at the next selectment meeting on March 9th, we're gonna do it in a different venue.
Which is fine, I'm just saying that, you can't do it tomorrow night because Mark's not gonna be here tomorrow, and he is scheduled to come back. So
On-
it'll be
on the 9th anyway?
on the 9th, so-
Where is Steve from DOT?
Mr. Landry's over here.
Are you available then?
Yes. Would March 9th work with the masses here?
If you advertise it better.
and have a bigger.
This was not a public meeting, or it would have been advertised.
It's not a public hearing. It was just
No, but
a,
it'd be nice if you told the people what was coming up.
We was asked.
Just as soon as we found out,
all we were
would.
asked that we were gonna have a presentation given to us tonight.
I don't care.
Okay.
If you're not gonna change the place.
No,
we're gonna have the same thing on March 9th.
No. We will figure out a new venue. I promise you, we will find a new venue.
I know it's not in Boothbay, but I can offer the Opera House if that works for people.
I appreciate that.
I don't see, the reality, I mean, we have town hall too. There's no
Kathy?
reason why we can't have it at our town hall.
I guess I would ask respectfully that it be held in.
Right.
No, we got the town hall.
We have the town hall.
In the fire station.
At the railway.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be in the paper, it is controversial.
Yeah, but I don't think that's.
I don't think that would be big enough either. I think we'd still would be over capacity.
Jane, they're stacked up all around the outside out there.
Yes, Robin?
So if you're gonna reschedule till the 9th, you can take care of that, and we'll let you decide where the new venue will be.
And we will make sure it is well notified to the public as to where to be found. So, do I have an official table?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table it to March 9th.
Second.
Any further discussion? No. All those in favor?
Class dismissed.
March 9th it is. We will let you know where to be.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Shorten our night up.
You're a lucky devil, you. Lay around.
Good luck, buddy. Thank you.
On the bright side, Bill will have a seat.
Mr. Chairman, a motion to adjourn until we can get this under control.
I just kind of figured we'd sit back and wait, but if you want a motion to adjourn, do we have a second?
To recess.
To recess?
Yes.
So has that been moved?
We can adjourn and go.
Recess, and second for Mr. Lewis.
All in favor, all in favor.
All those in favor? There you go.
Recess?
Although it's happening pretty quick.
That way we're technically not sitting here.
We gotta close doors or something, they gotta get out.
It's our turn. This is what happens. If it was a planned public hearing, we'd have had it somewhere else.
We would have planned for a bigger venue.
Have a good night.
Well, the one person responsible.
Sorry about that.
I know, I'm used to being here with the whole.
Night, Steve.
All right, Steve.
Thank you, Steve, sorry.
This is the second one.
Oh, yeah. I think town hall is probably the best venue. We can fit
I'm sure.
150 people in there easy enough.
Oh, yeah. And then those uncomfortable little fold-up chairs.
I still say it's a bad idea.
What, town hall? We'll discuss that. Actually, we ought to, before we adjourn, we need to discuss it.
Discuss it later on today.
Yeah, and then it'll be on the live stream.
Right.
And it'll be on the
Yes,
Channel 7.
that way it'll be out there.
Big
Yeah.
facility. I don't know, that's a boatload of people out there.
And the room was pretty full in the back too.
Handrails, lit walkway to use.
Where?
School.
If
I
they'll
can-
set it up.
Neil loves to put the tax dollars at work, and I don't blame him. We spend a lot of money.
I can reach out after, depending on what you guys want to do.
Maybe that would be our first priority, first request. And if they can't accommodate, we can always.
We can do that over here. Excuse me, a secondary.
Yeah, because we know capacity for the grammar school is at least 800.
Oh yeah, yeah. When they open up the whole.
Right. So we know there's plenty of room there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we wouldn't have any problem.
57 people were in your
Oh, really?
audience. 58 and left. So you're still at 100.
Thanks, John.
How did you, what'd you just sit there and, no kidding? So I guess probably the town hall is
Yeah,
here.
and I think it's probably, I would guess, 20 or more people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How many did you say, John?
157. Now I can direct you. You can actually make it into the room.
I understand.
I had 40,
I bet.
Is it shut off right now or is it still going?
That's fine.
Watch your language.
I've opened mouth and insert foot quite often, so I'm used to it.
All right.
We ready?
I think so. Where are we? That was the first public comment, wasn't it?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can I have a minute in public comment? Has nothing to do with anything on the agenda.
You can, but let's, all right, we're gonna try to pull the meeting back into order here a little bit. We do have another public comment. Chuck, the floor is yours.
Something I did want to say under public comment, I wanted to say congratulations to our Boothbay Region High School girls Class C South Regional Champions. I also wanted to say good luck Saturday night at 7 o'clock in Augusta when you go to bring the gold ball here to Boothbay. You make the region proud. Someone else I wanted to say congratulations to was Susie Edwards. Susie, that was a fantastic rendition of the national anthem. You should be extremely proud. I am very disappointed that the MPA will not allow her to sing the national anthem at the States because of her age. Hopefully, their rule can be changed in the future. Susie's a wonderful talent and inspiration to all of us, young or old, and I was amazed when I heard that young lady's voice. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to her rendition, I would suggest you go to Facebook. Her father did post the video, and it was a great job. So congratulations to her as well.
All right. Any further public comment? Okay, moving on. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 27th, 2016 meeting. So move.
I'm abstaining because I
Oh, that's
wasn't
right.
there.
I'm abstaining too.
Was that the meeting?
No, why we have January 27th? We had you had a meeting in February already?
No, we did
No, we
not.
did not.
The first one.
We did not.
We didn't have a quorum.
Oh, perfect. I was here for that one then.
Right. So I hope you'll second it.
I will.
That'd be good.
I thought you met while I was gone.
No. So we have a motion that's been made and seconded, and 2 people abstaining. All those in favor? So moved. Reports, Dan.
Okay, Public Works has the floats out, and they're working on them, as well as they're fixing some of the trash receptacles, and obviously handling any bit of the white stuff that comes down. Luckily, we haven't seen too much of it. Business office, we're still collecting taxes. We're pretty far ahead of where we were last year. And the code office has processed 2 subsurface wastewater permits, 1 wharf and weir, and 7 building permits. So, been pretty busy,
Yep.
yeah. Yep.
On a side note under reports, if next meeting we have, if you could get with Dickie and know how many we're allowed to have in this room
Yes, I
safely.
think I will reach out to Dickie.
There's nothing under old business. So we are into new business and funding requests for outside organizations. We kind of agreed just to kind of run down through these. Are we all okay to go down individually and approve and not approve tonight? Or are we just looking for?
What I envisioned, and it's obviously up to you, is
Right.
that if you wanted me to have a follow-up action on any of these, that this would be.
This would be the night to find out?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
We have some people here representing some of the organizations, though. I mean, if they want to,
Chime in, absolutely.
I mean, we hate to have them come back.
No, I understand. I'm just gonna go down from the top of the list. If anybody here is representing any of these organizations, just make yourself known. We'll make sure that you have a chance to speak. The American Red Cross, they've made a request of $500. Blue was this was, ones are new requests?
Correct.
So that's a new request. We haven't approved this in the past. Do you have any discussion on this? Just keep moving through.
Let's go through them and then we'll.
Okay. Boothbay Area Shellfish Ordinance, that's a new request for $1,000 this year. Boothbay Harbor Cemetery District, 18,000 requests this year. That's an increase of 3,000. Boothbay Harbor Memorial Library, they've got a request for 50,000. That's an increase of 5,000 from last year. Boothbay Region Ambulance Service is 166,000. That's an increase of about 5,900 from last year. Boothbay Region Community Resource Council, they asked for 5,000 this year. That's an increase of 4,500. I'm reading that right. Boothbay Region Community Television, it's a 20,000 request. That's the same request they've done in previous years. Boothbay Region District Nurse Association, they're looking for $9,860. That's an increase of 1,000.
Nope, 340.
Oh, sorry.
Looks like a funky one.
It does, doesn't it? That's an increase of $340. Boothbay Region Historical Society is a request of $2,000, which was the same as last year. Boothbay Region Senior Citizens Club is a new request for $1,000.
It's not new, it just, it don't
It didn't-
make the
Hasn't
warrant.
made it on.
It hasn't made it on the warrant, my apologies. The Community Fireworks Fund is $5,000 request, same as last year. New Hopes for Women is $915, same request as last year. Charles E. Sherman Jr. Post, Post 36, it's same as last year at $300. Spectrum Generations, that's didn't make it on the warrant last year, but for $500. The Community Center, I see a representative here, that's a request of $3,500. That's, did not make it on the warrant last year. The Lifelight Foundation, $780, which did not make it on the warrant last year. And the trolley committee, which,
Came in late, but was
But
taken
was-
out of the selectmen's reserve.
okay, so that's.
Same amount?
Same amount for
Correct.
2,000?
Yep.
Okay. So that's all of them for a total of $295,355.
Well, actually, Dan, that's the same thing that happened to the Boothbay Region Senior Citizens Club. So that's not a
It would
blue.
fall, yeah, probably under that
That's a
same
red.
umbrella. Yep, yep.
Okay, so the communities, the Senior Citizens Club is red actually as well?
Yes.
Okay. So, out of all those organizations, I know I see the community center here. Is there anybody else? Okay, so I see all kinds.
Let's go one by one.
You spoke up the loudest. You can have the floor first. How's that?
Okay, let's do it. Can I use this podium?
You certainly may. As a matter of fact, we like it.
Don't let Jonathan make faces behind. So, good evening. My name is Holly Stover. I'm the vice chair of the board for Boothbay Region Community Resources, and I live in Boothbay. I'm joined also by the president of our board, Sue Burge, and is there anyone else here from our board membership? If you could just raise your hand. I don't see anyone. The Boothbay Region Community Resources Council, we are a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. We have we were formed in 2005, and we have a mission to serve the citizens of Boothbay, Boothbay Harbor, Southport, and Edgecombe. And we provide information, referrals, resources, and programs. We did publish this insert. It was in the Boothbay Register. We made one available to all of you tonight. The programs that we offer, and particularly the Community Navigator program, lifts a substantial administrative burden from the town of Boothbay. I know personally, prior to the creation of the Community Navigator program, I would get calls at home from the town, both here and in the harbor, to assist with certain individuals or families that were In addition to needing general assistance, they needed a lot of other supports, and we didn't have a formal mechanism to have a program like this in place. So the town manager, or Tracy, would call me, same in the harbor, and ask me if I could figure out a way to make sure that the services that were available got plugged in, so it wouldn't be the revolving door back the next month to general assistance, so that some of the larger issues, more systemic issues, could be looked at. So we have, through the creation of the Community Navigator Program, which is our case management program, been able to divert those people from coming back in this door over and over again, because we have a case management program that actually helps them to solve some of their larger issues, rather than just coming here for financial assistance. As we know, people who are in need, often there's other factors that go into either feeding or feeding what brings them to need that type of assistance. We deal with people who, beyond poverty, also suffer from mental illness, addictions, suffer from issues related to domestic violence or sexual assault, underemployment, which is people who only work seasonally, or unemployment, people who just can't find work. So those larger issues are addressed through our case management program. In addition to that, we spend, in fiscal year 2015, we spent $45,000 serving the people of Boothbay, Boothbay Harbor, Edgecombe, and Southport. In your original packet, I had a number of how many people in Boothbay we served. I think I put down 109 by memory. We actually served 120 Boothbay residents in calendar year 2015. So I want to just correct that. So our other programs that we offer, that if it sort of comes together in an integrated fashion, and through the various programs, we're really able to address multiple needs that a family or individual has, and it not only takes away from other assistance they might need, but it, for instance, when the woodchucks are able to provide some wood, somebody might need less fuel assistance. So it sort of works in a way that we lift the burden of all sorts of programs. So we offer our Community Navigator program, which is case management. For those of you who don't know, we have participated for several years in the community garden at the Riddle Farm, and we've used the produce that's been grown there. All volunteers have grown that food. We share it with the Food for Thought program and also with the food pantry. The Food for Thought program provides nutritious, high-protein, nutritionally dense foods to families who are in need. They're identified through the school, and anonymously we deliver packages of food to help feed the children through the weekends. We had reports from the school that we had several children that were arriving at school unable to focus on Mondays because they really had left school on Fridays, and the last thing they had was school lunch. So by providing food to the house, we deliver it, we're able to feed those children over the weekends. We have a free clothing closet. The dump has a drop-off.
Transfer station.
The transfer station. I stand corrected. I am so embarrassed. The transfer station, and then those are clean, sorted, stacked, and it's a very busy closet that's down at the Methodist Church where people can pick up clothes of all sizes and all seasons. We have a fuel assistance fund, as I think you all know, and we try to provide at least every family with 100 gallons. Set for Success is a program that Sue Burge has led for our organization for several years, and we make sure that every child has every school supply that they need, including a backpack, to get ready for school, to have the most successful school year possible. And then we have our woodchucks, who modeled on the front cover, and the town has been very generous with land and gasoline and support for the woodchucks. They harvest trees, they stack season, split stack season, it's in some order like that. But they provide seasoned wood to families who burn wood as a primary heat source. We have over 100 volunteers, and I just wanted to say, in the town of Boothbay, I just want to acknowledge that we have Sue Burge, Sue Wilson, Fleet Davies, Tracy Hutchton Hyson, Henry Rowe, Karen Erard, Alan Strauss, Bill Smith, and Holly Stover. And we all volunteer, and several other people, but those are the people who I listed. So we've asked for $5,000 this year, and I realize that's significantly larger, but I would ask you to take into consideration, in the absence of our programs, people would be revolving back through the front door, and they would be a time burden and a money burden, not just to the town, and also the resources of the clerks that sit there and would have to process those applications. So I thank you all very much and can answer any questions.
Holly, how much have you requested from the other towns?
We've requested the same from Boothbay Harbor and 2,500 from Southport. And we're not sure about Edgecombe because Jack Sarmanian, who's our Edgecombe board member, is away on vacation, and he said he would handle it. He's a selectman in Edgecombe, so. But we have asked the same from Boothbay Harbor.
Have we seen a drop in our GA lines since this has been going on? I mean, have we taken that out of the budget, I guess? Have we dropped that?
We have dropped the budget, I believe, starting last year, $2,000, and it held this year. We were confident that it generally has been $10,000 in the past, and we have not reached that threshold in the past couple of years, so we felt confident.
So what have you budgeted for this year?
$8,000.
And how much have you spent, roughly?
Oh,
We're going to be close to that 8?
Nope.
So what I'm wondering is, can we, I mean, it sounds like they're kind of the same thing, so, I mean, it's almost money shifting, but changing the line for GA and put it to this instead. Could we get away with that and not?
GA is one of the areas in town, if we were to go over budget, we are fully within our rights to go over the budget.
I mean, it's a great, everything you do, I mean, the Set for Success and the woodchucks, and, I mean, I think it's a great thing, so I hate to.
The only thing I would say is to calculate into that the time spent by Tracy and primarily Tracy and sometimes Bonnie on processing applications, which also has a cost to the town.
Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but anything that we spend on GA, we're reimbursed a portion of that from the state, right?
Correct.
So don't confuse this with GA.
Well, yeah, but.
Because we won't get reimbursed.
I agree, but what my point is, if we're budgeting $8,000, you still are budgeting, if we can cut that to, say, 4 and get away with that, if we're not using it, we're not gonna get reimbursed for it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, if we're not using but half of that, it would make sense to cut that and put it into this. Because it's kind of the same thing. I mean, we don't get reimbursed for this, but we're not using it anyways.
But you also can refer your Boothbay citizens who come to the front door to the Community Navigator program.
I mean, it sounds like the same thing.
Something
Really.
to think
Except when
about.
we add the case management piece.
So, again, as an action item for me, do you want me to explore that avenue and just see what, I mean, first of all, I should just reach out and see if there is a threshold we have to maintain in terms of our overall ratio. But that's something I can look into tomorrow.
How would you spend this money?
It would go for the general support of the Community Navigator program, which includes, right now we have one full-time case manager, and we're hiring an assistant because our caseload is grown. We serve over 300 people a year, which in most case management programs, that would be not a number that people could possibly do, but we do it. So we're adding a person, and we also provide general support, like general assistance, and we pool money with the 24 collaborative members, which sometimes has involved the towns and the churches and other civic organizations. So we'd use that as part of our funding. So when somebody comes along and they need that security deposit and first month's rent, or there's an emergency situation and we need to house them while we look for that apartment, whatever the situation is, crisis or ongoing, we use a small portion of our funding, $45,000 a year, to provide for the basic needs. These aren't extravagant needs, the most basic needs of local citizens. So we would use some of it to proportion into that, especially if you restricted it. If it was coming out of general assistance and you wanted to restrict it to that purpose.
I'm assuming you folks are audited every year?
Yes.
Have you supplied Dan with a copy of your last audit?
We actually were incorporated by the IRS, incorporated and achieved our 501c3 in 2014. So I've given him profit and loss statements and a budget for this year. We haven't yet been audited, but we have financial statements. Because of the newness, we were working under a fiduciary for several years of the Congregational Church of Boothbay Harbor. And now we stand on our own 2 feet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Community Center, would you like to be next?
Yes, may I sit here? Do I have to go out there?
Probably better there than people watching can.
We truly do propose.
We know you're not shy.
Jane, there's a camera trained,
He's quoting him.
there's a camera trained over there.
Well, my name is, yes. My name is Jane Good, and I'm a director of the Community Center, and this is Margaret Parrott, who is the director of the volunteers that we have at the Community Center. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of the selectmen for coming down to the Community Center. It's been fabulous seeing you all there. All the selectmen in the area have been invited, but every single one of you have come, and some of you have come several times for visits, and Dan's been in 2 or 3 times and offered his help in any way that he can. So I can't thank you enough for that, for being that interested in what we're doing there. So, and you have to see it to feel it. I mean, really. So I think what I'd like to do is to upgrade you on some numbers that we have that we didn't have when we filed our application. We have a voluntary sign-in system down there, which means you just don't have to sign in if you don't want to. So we know we're a little short in the numbers, but basically in September we had 490 visitors through the door, October 588 through the door, November 717 through the door, December 561, January 662. To date, Boothbay has the largest number of people that are using the community center, and that's a total of 1,500. I have 19 staff volunteer people who come in and man the community center. Absolutely no one makes one penny. They're there because they love it. They're there because it serves a purpose for them. We have a lot of retired people who have an awful lot to give and no longer feel maybe purposeful, but they're purposeful there, and they're fabulous. We have a lot of retired nurses. It's just great. We also have 23 volunteer instructors. These are people that have come to me in the community and said, I want to teach this here. I want to teach that here. Do you have any use for an identity theft lecture? Whatever it is, they're coming through the door. I haven't even had a chance yet to go out to the community to ask anybody. There are many different areas that I would like to have for instructors, but they just keep coming through the door. So it's wonderful. It's kind of a fun project we've got going. We only claim to be a social gathering place for people, but I think our real desire for this project was that we just didn't want anybody in our community to be alone. That there was, for me personally, as the director, I hate the thought of anybody being home alone in their homes. It's just not necessary. There is a place to go now. We have a yacht club, there's a membership. We have a country club up the road, there'll be a membership. We have a YMCA, there are memberships. It doesn't cost a cent to come in there. You'll get free coffee, you get free, I have so many mothers whose children have left home who love to bake, and I had a 92-year-old drop off 2 dozen popovers this morning. So there's always something fresh baked there, and that serves a purpose for them. And so you can always have something fresh to eat and coffee and just sit and talk or play a game or go to one of the scheduled classes. I think you have in front of you a brochure that we just put out for the community center. You have a schedule of all the classes that we have now. I try to book 3 to 4 new classes each month. And you have a letter of endorsement from our police chief. He's been wonderful in coming in and visiting. He's been a good contact person for us if we think we have issues with somebody who perhaps might be homeless or somebody who might be could be difficult at times. He's been great in contact with us. He loves coming in, and so you have a letter of endorsement from him there as well in our budget. I can't speak for other people as well as they can speak for themselves. So what I try to do as director is to create a character spotlight of one person every month. And I'd just like to share a couple of those with you because these are their words and their feelings, and this is who they are as people. The first one is Don Strickland, and I use his name with his permission. Before the community center opened its doors, my life felt like it was at a standstill. I spent the last 2 years of my life, since my wife of 38 years, Marilyn's passing, staring at the television and feeding the dog. That's what my life was. Lonesomeness is a very bad place to be, you know. The community center has pulled me out of that place. My life seems to have a deeper meaning now. I have even developed a desire to make people laugh. Being involved with the community center has gotten me to do things that I never would have thought of doing before. This past Thanksgiving Day, all I could feel was how thankful that I was to have so many new friends and how I could make other people's lives a little easier and happier. Seeing smiles on people's faces pleases me. The second character spotlight was also with her permission. I use her name, Mary Nolan. After my husband of 46 years passed away, I got into a rut, going out once in a while to dinner and sitting with my laptop playing games. Now I have the community center to go to. I have met people that I know. She had a regular class reunion there one day, and a lot of new ones that I didn't know. I feel so grateful for this home away from home. Everyone is so friendly and most of all positive. I now know what a rut that I was in. I have my sense of humor back. For anyone who hasn't been to the community center, please come and see if it doesn't change your life like it has changed mine. These are two of my what I call regulars. I probably have close to 20 people who come 5 days a week, and by popular demand, we've had to open on Saturdays. And I said, well, we need volunteers, and 9 hands went up. So we're now open Saturdays. We're open 6 days a week from 10 to 4. And I have probably the 20 or so people that come every day from 10 to 4. I was hoping for 2 this first year, and we're 5 months into this project. So I feel we're serving a need, and I hope you will recommend this.
So what does the money go towards? I mean, the money you're requesting towards the rent, I assume?
Rent,
Yes.
electricity.
Expenses. We're doing really well with, we had a $6,000 startup grant, matching grant, and we made that in 3 months. We had a pie sale. We thought we had 43 pies coming in. We had 80 pies show up. You know what 8 pies look like? We just had a cookie walk, and we made $536 on $5 bags of cookies. They'd fill this room, I think. People are very giving, even if they don't come there. They know about it, and they want to do what they can do to help us out. I have felt nothing but love and people, the feeling of people giving in our community. It's wonderful to feel that.
I just gotta say, I think it's great. I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, when we were down there, everyone playing cards and having a grand old time. It's nice to have, for them, like you say, that it's not a place, and I'm not against the YMCA, but you have to pay to go there. Whereas that, they can walk in, it's kind of cool. It's a homey atmosphere.
Tom?
Yeah.
One thing that I'd like to say, because we're next door neighbors, the parking lot is always full. And that's fantastic for more than one reason, for more than the reason that they're going to your place. But when people drive past the parking lot that's full, they're more inclined to say what's going on in there and pull into that parking lot and help the businesses that are there as well as come to the community center. So it really is a boon that you're there, and I just love to have that parking lot full.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. We have a wish list too inside for toilet paper and paper towels and dish detergent. We'll take anything. And our people go to the dollar store and they purchase those things and they bring them back to us. We haven't had to buy any of those things so far. And that's their feeling of giving. And that's their feeling of ownership. And that helps the dollar store. We hope we're helping the video store.
Oh, always, yeah.
You will drive through town and there's not a car on the street. You know, I come from Southport and it's like, downtown's dead. And you get to the mall and it's like, there's energy there. So.
Well, there's a sneaky aspect to this too. And that is that we've created this social place. But we're slipping in some things like David Patch is coming several days, one day a week. When is he there?
The first and third Monday of every month, twice a month.
He's there so that people who have questions about the VA, who can't drive all the way to Togus, can just drop in and talk to David. He can help them with applications for various things. It's been a boon to have him there. And we've got a retired pharmacist who needed something in her life, and she is now coming in and sitting there and talking to people about their medications, if they have questions about how this drug might interact with that drug. She's not trying to prescribe anything or to take the place of a doctor. She's just there to answer questions. And so we've done some kind of what I call sneaky things that way. And of course, Jane is always trying to make it intergenerational. So she now has the children. There's one young lady who came, Dwight, I think your brother taught her to play cribbage. What is she, 12 years old or something? And she came to the cribbage tournament the other day and took on 3 tables of senior citizens. So they're kind of really interesting things, and we like to think that we're creative about what we're doing down there, too.
Her mother emailed me immediately afterwards and said, that's her scorecard, went right up on the refrigerator, and thank all those nice people for being so nice to her. It made her day. So, and it made the seniors' day. I mean, we don't, I can't think of any, I don't like to segregate seniors. I think we all have middle-aged children, we all have children. And I think we live in a world together. And I do push for it to be multi-generational. We all have something to learn from each other. So.
I think there is one downside of your place.
What is that?
I think you're going to outgrow it.
Well, that's a bad thing.
Well, if we keep eating those donuts and things.
True. Thank you for your time.
Jane?
Thank you.
Yes.
I realize you guys are a new entity, and just for full disclosure, I was a board member on the Wellness Foundation. Are you guys going to be audited as a separate entity or as part of the Wellness Foundation in years moving forward?
We're part of the wellness.
501.
So this would fall under the Wellness Foundation?
Exactly.
So if you do make the warrant, you'd need to supply an audit in years moving forward.
Okay,
Very
fine,
good. We
fine.
can do that.
Yeah, we have a good man. I've forgotten what his name.
Fred Brewer.
Yes, thank you.
William.
Thank you.
You all, everybody needs to come.
Fred's the one that does it.
Yeah, he's back there now. He's back there now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tim McFadden, the director of the Memorial Library on Boothbay Harbor. And I appreciate the opportunity to come before the board and make a case for the library's request for support. This is the first year in, I believe, 5 years that we're asking for an increase. We've held steady on our request since 2013, I believe. So we do appreciate all the support from the town of Boothbay that we've received over the years. We couldn't operate without that support. I'd like to give you just a few figures and give you an idea of what's been happening at the library over the last year. In 2015, we had 19,783 visitors, and that was a 6% increase over 2014. We circulated almost 32,000 physical items, that's books, CDs, and DVDs. That's an 8% increase over 2014. We do a ton of programming for adults and youth in the towns, and we don't have a figure for 2015. We haven't compiled all our programming figures to date, but in 2014, and I expect we'll meet or exceed these numbers in 2015, we had 4,771 people attend our programs. And that was in 169 programs in 2014. So as I said, I don't have the figures for 2015, but they're going to be very similar to that, perhaps even more. And we do a lot of different programming for both adults and youth. Give you an idea of some of the programming that we do on the sheets that Skip handed out. We do a monthly main author luncheon. We bring in a main author every month, and people come and listen to the author give a talk about his work or her work, and we provide a lunch as well. We do 2 children's story times a week. We have a Lego club, a chess club, a robotics club, book discussion groups. language groups, that people come in and talk in French or whatever, a writers group. We have a rotating monthly artist exhibit that we have every month. So those are just some of the ideas. We do these programs on a regular basis, but we have a lot of different programming coming in each month. And I think Skip gave you a handout of the children's programming and the adult programming for February and March. So it gives you an idea of what we're doing coming up. We have high-speed internet access on 6 public computers. And one of the reasons public libraries were established many years ago was to address the need that people had to access information, particularly for people that didn't have the means to go out and purchase a book or to go out and buy an encyclopedia and have it in their home. In our day, it's perhaps some people don't have the money to go out and buy a public computer, or certainly have high-speed internet access in their home. So the public library provides that, and it's always been that way for public libraries, and we continue to do that. We have 6 public computers. We logged 4,179 hours on those public computers in 2015. We're a Wi-Fi access point in the community, and there have been a bunch of studies that have been done that show that providing Wi-Fi access to the community is an economic generator. People want to see that when they are thinking about moving to a community, and certainly it helps those folks who live in the community. Whenever you drive by the library, if it's closed, very often you'll see folks sitting out in the parking lot with their smartphone or laptop and doing some work in their car. And if you drive by in the summertime, the lawn is just packed with people using the Wi-Fi. We did upgrade our routers this year, which actually improves the Wi-Fi access to those using it. We have access to thousands of e-books and e-audio books free of charge to those with library cards, and it's free to get a library card. I think it's something in the vicinity of 8,000 e-books and a similar number of audiobooks that are available free of charge to anyone with a library card. We circulated 2,835 e-books in 2015, which was a real big increase of 49% over 2014. And 750 e-audiobooks were borrowed through the library's website in 2015. We have a huge database of various programs. It's called Marvel. We belong to the main library consortium. It's known as Minerva, and I'm on the executive board of that group. That provides access to databases that literally cost a couple of $100,000, and we could never afford that unless we belonged to that network. We're one of the original members of that network. It costs us $5,000 a year to belong, but it provides tremendous service in terms of those databases, and you can access those databases from your home. I'll just give you one example of one of the databases that's available. It's called Learning Express Library, and I'm going to just read what I've got written down here. An interactive online learning platform featuring over 770 practice tests, tutorials, and ebooks related to job search and workplace skills improvement, career certification and licensing exam preparation, college entrance, graduate school admissions and exam preparation, GED exam preparation, and basic skills improvement in reading, writing, and math for all ages. It provides immediate scoring, complete answer explanations, and an individualized analysis of results. In addition, there are interactive popular software tutorials and courses available through Learning Express Library, such as learning computer basic skills. These are video-based and allow you to learn on your own, at your own pace. So that's just an example of one of the databases that's available through Marvel. Anyone with a library card has access to that. We purchased a program called Mango Languages. You can get on the library's website and click on the Mango Languages button and have access to over 70 languages that you can study at your own pace. So that's new in 2015. We do a weekly delivery service of books and CDs and DVDs to people who can't leave their home, and that's done with a volunteer driver. She's been doing that for a number of years. I don't know how many people we touch with that service, but it's a service that is certainly very, very valuable. We do have 25 volunteers that work with us, and I would say they've logged well over a couple of thousand hours last year, which is a big budget saver for us. We have free passes to the Portland Museum of Art, the Farnsworth Museum, the state parks in the state of Maine, the Railway Village, Maine State Aquarium. We do have a powerful telescope that we loan out to folks, particularly families with kids. They'll take the telescope home for a week and learn about the heavens above us. So that's been very popular. We plan on, in the next year, buying a microscope and some binoculars also to loan out to the public. If we can find a generous donor, anyone here in town, in the building, we're looking to buy a 3D printer, and we're going to use that in our youth programming. We have a comfortable community room for the first time since we renovated the library, and we have groups, nonprofit groups that want to come in and use that room. We have individuals that do tutorial work. There are people that come in and prep for college exams with a tutor, and they use that room. It's been well used. For the first time, we have a public restroom, which is real important in the summer. And we do have, we're a public site for an automated external defibrillator, which is hanging outside the front door of the library. So these are just some of the things that we provide to the community. Just quickly, and you've got it, I think, on the front page of the newsletter that we handed out to you. We did a return on investment analysis. All of these services have a monetary value, so we plug these into what's called a library value use calculator. That's provided by the Maine State Library. And all of these, when you plug these figures in, you come up with a monetary figure. In our case, it was $881,000. We divide that by the monies we get from Boothbay Harbor, and Edgecombe, to a lesser extent Edgecombe, and we come up with a return on investment of $9.37. So every dollar that we receive from the towns is worth $9.37 in services.
So what do you request from each town? I mean, you have a 94,000 figure here.
Actually, it's 92. That figure's incorrect. It's 92,000. We received 45,000 from Boothbay last year, 45,000 from Boothbay Harbor, and $2,000 from Edgecombe. If there are any, Skip is our accountant, and Skip wants to say a few words about.
I don't want to say.
Well,
I will say.
About our finance.
Actually, I'm here on behalf of Nicole Poulton, who's our board chair. She's a scientist over at Bigelow Labs, and she's currently in New Orleans at a conference. Oh. She doesn't know what she's missing here today, but anyway, she wanted me to express her regrets that she couldn't be here. The conference is on. The point that we would like to make primarily regards to the library funding is that we have not had an increase in town funding since 2013. And if the chart that I handed out shows how in 2012 and 13, the Boothbay's town support covered about 20% of our expenditures. As the years have gone on, that number dropped to below 16% in 2016. The increase that we're asking for this year will bring it up slightly, but still in the 17% range. So that would mean that total coverage from the towns is about 34%. At the same time, the chart that I handed out shows that our fundraising efforts have increased substantially. We raised less than $100,000 in 2012, and we're going to raise $137,000 this year. It's a fantastic increase. So With respect to the town support needing to increase, we've also increased substantially our efforts to raise funds from other sources. So that was really the main point. Our challenges with respect to cost come from staffing. As we've had to replace staff, we found out that we had to pay more to get quality. Strange phenomenon. Also, we found that our benefits package wasn't right, and we're moving to a benefit package that will provide medical insurance to the staff. The collection, some of the things that Tim mentioned, electronic media isn't as cheap as a paperback. And so our collection expenses have started to go up. For many, many years, we were even constrained by space for collections. Now have some room, but also the shift in the mix to more electronic media has really increased our costs. So those are the things that we're really facing. So that's the points I wanted to make. Any questions?
How long is your construction loan? See, you have.
It's it is a rollover. It's
But I mean, how
we have
long?
another year, and then we'd either have to get it extended or keep it. We use the endowment as a collateral, and we pay the interest only. We're pushing hard to get a capital campaign underway to cover that. Plus, if you look at the layout in the library and the used bookstore, which is really an integral part of the whole thing, there's some real improvements available to us. We don't have a real number on that yet, but we'd like to raise enough money to be able to do that, put an elevator in, connect the bookstore so that their operation could be run better, and when we get that
And
total.
expand the children's room, the size of the
So,
children's.
but
Oh, that's right.
back up to the construction loan again.
Yeah,
If I'm understanding correctly, you took out a loan,
yes,
and you're paying zero principal, but $10,200 interest every year.
that's right.
Why? I mean, that's wasted money.
It is, the alternate we would have to have, and we did not have the opportunity to have a capital campaign before we did the renovation. We had about half of it, a little more than half. And so what the board decided to do was to do the construction, because we had promised so many times that we were going to make the library better, and it never happened. So we went ahead and did the renovation using the endowment as a collateral. I think we could always pay off the loan from the endowment,
Save you $10,200 every year.
but then that's investment that doesn't occur, although today it doesn't matter.
You're still using it for collateral either way, and it's costing you $10,200. That's the increase to Boothbay Harbor is 10 grand.
Yes.
I mean, it makes no sense to me if I went and bought a car today and never paid it off, but paid the interest.
Yeah. Well, our intent is to pay it off
it's
with the
not budgeted.
campaign this year.
Yeah, but you're budgeting, I mean, so you budgeted $134,000 for fundraising, so you're hoping to get 200,000, so you
No,
put
yeah,
65.
a new capital campaign, which would be separate from that. That's the operation fundraising, the capital campaign.
If the interest is $10,000 a year, what was the construction loan amount?
300, our current balance is about 320,000. Excuse me. We pay about 4%. Thank you.
All we got? Okay.
My name is Janet Wright. I'm a trustee, a member of the Board of Trustees at the Boothbay Region Historical Society, and I'm currently serving as president. I'm going to be reading to you from our annual report, which I promise is fairly brief, which you probably already received because we send it to you with our request, I believe. And we're asking for level funding. You've given us $2,000 a year for, I'm not quite sure how many years, but I know it's been for a while. I'm fairly new as president, so I'm not as conversant in financials as some of your other presenters, but I can get you answers to your questions if I don't have them at my fingertips. We always do send you an annual report so that we are accountable for the money that we do get. During 2015, our 48th year, we enjoyed the support of both Boothbay and Boothbay Harbor voters. The funds voted by townspeople helped us to fulfill our purpose of preserving and increasing knowledge about our region's past. We held regular year-round hours at the museum in Boothbay Harbor on Thursdays through Saturdays, 10 to 2. 1,050 people came to the museum. That's a pretty precise number. About 2/3 of them to buy books and photos or in search of specific information about families, houses, businesses, vessels, and other historical matters. They also browsed through the 6 rooms of local artifacts. By the way, all these things are donated by local people, businesses, shipyards, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't go out and purchase anything. All our collections are donated. We sent out 2 newsletters, had 5 speakers, 2 bake sales, a yard sale, and a print book raffle. We did not hold a big fundraising event this year or the year before. So we've been relying on smaller events to raise money, and then we have an annual fund drive that we hold in the fall. We provided news items and articles on local history to the townspeople and others through the Boothbay Register. Most of you are familiar with Barbara Rumsey's biweekly submissions. Over 800 letters and 1,500 emails were sent pertaining to museum business and research. We help the town offices with research when asked. We have many active volunteers who donated more than 2,000 hours of work this year. Some projects done by volunteers were organizing public events, checking the order of photos and documents, helping with office tasks, manning the building, helping with buildings and grounds, mailings, organizing and listing new document collections and artifacts. So we really operate as a research center. The sources of our income this year were donations by individuals and towns, bequests and 1 small grant, membership dues, we do have members, raffle tickets, bake sales, and sales of books, maps, and photos. We're an active research facility assisting people locally in their search for information on family, houses, vessels, and places in the region. We also carry on correspondence with people all over the country who have an interest in the Boothbay region history, which is a side of things we don't often hear much about, but there are a lot of people who come to Boothbay and want to do more research on the history. Our holdings of artifacts, collections, and documents increased by 1 linear foot of documents, 13 books, approximately 100 photos or images, and more than 80 artifacts. They range from the 1950s to 60s Campfire Girl scrapbook from Bob Goodspeed and Chris Hoffman's master thesis on baseball and identity in Boothbay Harbor, to a Hotel Fullerton key tag from Lorraine Nickerson, all of great local interest. Funds were spent to care for these items appropriately. We thank the townspeople for their willingness to contribute to the preservation of local history, and we hope you still consider us an asset to the region. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I was going to say, so are we, oh, we got one more. Okay.
I'll be quick. 2.
No, that's quick. 2?
There's another.
All right, no, that's fine. I'm not trying to rush anybody out.
If you don't want to.
I'll be very brief, and my name is John Welsh. I'm a trustee of the Life Flight Foundation and also a resident of Boothbay. We're here to ask Boothbay to make a donation to the Life Flight Foundation. The amount is derived at 25 cents per person who's a resident of Boothbay. There's currently 109 towns in Maine have contributed to Life Flight. So this is an effort to get all the towns to be representative and support Life Flight, which is a statewide rescue air ambulance service. It's the only one in Maine. It's a nonprofit service. It's been around 17 years. We have 2 helicopters currently, and we've added a fixed-wing King Air in the fall. And we're hoping to order a 3rd helicopter this coming summer, which we will place in southern Maine and will decrease the response times to this part of the state. Currently, the 2 helicopters we have now are in Lewiston and in Bangor. We have transported in this past year 3 patients from the Boothbay area and 29 since the inception of Life Flight. We are pleased that so many towns, municipalities in the state have indicated their support. The money that we ask for and the money that it goes towards capital equipment, goes towards helicopter replacement or new helicopters, and it goes for medical equipment. We have no other source of funds for equipping these aircraft. Our charges go for operations, and this money would go for medical equipment for the helicopters. And in closing, I just a couple of statistics. I know you've got a packet, but there are 400, this is kind of interesting, I thought. There are 456 towns in Maine, and we have transported patients from 441 of those 456 towns, which I think was quite remarkable for our service. And in 2015, we transported 1,635 patients. So about every 5 hours, we get a call and transport a patient. So I'll just leave it with that. I know we've worked with the ambulance service here, with Steve, and appreciate all the cooperation we've received in the peninsula. Our funds come from municipal donations, individuals, corporations, and we appreciate the increasing broad support that the municipalities are showing for Life Flight. So be glad to answer any questions if anybody has any.
On an operational side, I just have to ask.
Not my forte, you know.
No, but has there ever been any thought, was there any thought, I should say, prior to buying a fixed-wing aircraft, to buying a helicopter that's equipped to fly in any kind of wind or fog? Because living on the coast of Maine,
right,
it happens enough so it shouldn't, I guess, when you call for helicoptering, because they'll fly overhead, and because we're on the coast and in Lewiston it's fine,
Yeah.
they can't land.
Yeah.
That would make more sense to me than a fixed-wing aircraft. Just curious.
Well, the fixed wing can actually fly in and out of, it has to, of course, have a landing strip or an airport,
Right.
and it can land and take off in much more severe weather than the helicopters can.
Absolutely, but not on the coast of Maine.
No, you'd have
or
to
up
go to
north in
Wisconsin,
Aroostook County.
right. But I can't speak to all the technicalities, but in the helicopter that we're hoping to order this summer would be the newest generation that has the latest electronic equipment. We've been upgrading navigation. Our pilots are all trained with night vision goggles, as you know, which is a little bit unusual. Fog, I think, continues to be a problem.
I mean, nothing short of buying like a Blackhawk.
Right.
But but you know what I mean, with that kind of equipment, you really, living in Maine, you almost need that.
I know. The problem is you're getting into a very expensive piece of equipment.
Absolutely, I agree, but so isn't a fixed-wing aircraft.
Yeah.
So, I'm just curious. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah.
nothing to do with this, but I was just curious.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The new helicopter that you're looking to purchase, is that a replacement or an addition?
Be an addition.
So what's that going to do to your expenses?
The business plan, which has already been developed, it will cover itself. We have now, there's a lot of calls we get we can't go on because we don't have an aircraft available. And just picking up that shortfall will pay for this aircraft, the operation of it. We're raising the money to purchase it, but the charges to use the helicopter to support the operation.
It will self-fund itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It won't have to be subsidized. Now, all these requests are just for equipment.
Medical equipment's not expensive.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jump trains, ain't it, Steve? Yep. I think there's two more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of Spectrum Generations, I'm Mary Ann Pinkham, the Regional Director. I base my home in Damerscotter at Spectrum Generations Coastal Community Center. We're pleased to be able to come and speak to you about our story and our services. I know you have the packet of information that is the standard request. What you have in front of you is just a quick reference sheet that really shows all of the different programs, services, and supports that we have, how you can contact the agency locally and throughout Central Maine. We are a 501c3 organization operating as Spectrum Generations. We are the Central Maine Area Agency on Aging. Therefore, we cover the Central Maine counties of Sagadahoc, Lincoln, Knox, Waldo, Somerset, and Kennebec counties, from the state line to the coastline. And we are a complementary service to the senior citizens groups, to the community center, to the people helping people, and to the resource center and the community navigator. We are one of those organizations to whom the community navigator refers people, especially when they're looking at, what do I do when I turn 65? How do I enroll in Medicare? Medicare Part D clinics. In fact, we did one of our clinics this year during open enrollment for Medicare Part D at the community center. So when they ask us to come, we try to oblige. We help them bring an AARP driver safety class down to the peninsula. So we're working with all of the organizations and Triad, which Deb Mullen is part of, to enhance the resources that are available to people who are aging in our county. We are also intergenerational. There's no membership fee. There's no age restriction on coming into our center and participating in the programs and activities. We have a robust fitness program. Again, I know you have your why, we have our why. We have a certified senior fitness instructor and personal trainer. In fact, she comes down on the peninsula and works with some of the consumers that are down here. So we are not as mobile as we'd like to be due to funding. We have two parts. We have the very traditional Area Agency on Aging, which is the federally mandated Older Americans Act programs, which are a pass-through from the state. They cover senior nutrition, aging and disability resource counseling, and an aging and disability resource center. Evidence-based programs like Matter of Balance, Living Well with Chronic Disease, Tai Chi for better balance, enhanced fitness, and the Family Caregiver Support Program. The Family Caregiver Support Group meets on the second Thursday of every month at the center. They do savvy caregiver training to help people who are working with somebody who has issues with dementia and Alzheimer to better be able to work with them. So it's a very fluid motion. We work with Sage Maine to have their support group there. So we are trying to integrate ourselves, make sure all of those services are provided. We are once again asking for the same amount of $500, and doing our calculations, that equates to us providing over $6,000 in value in the services to residents of Boothbay Harbor. Serving 83 consumers, we have volunteers that come from Boothbay and the Boothbay Peninsula to volunteer at the center. Volunteers, like all the other organizations, are our lifeblood. We would not exist without them. We have a core of about 100 volunteers, and then we probably pull in another 200 that come and do our lunch and learn. Every Wednesday, we have a lunch and learn program as part of the congregate dining, and those speakers come, and we can't afford to pay people, so we either have to build it into a fee, or I get them to come and do it for free, just like Jane does. Lots of volunteers. And then we're working on our 5th year, we've put together, which is in the back of your packet, an Aging in Place, and we've switched it to Aging in the Right Place Symposium. It's a program in 2 parts. In the spring, it's Start Talking Before the Crisis Happens, and we try to address an issue. It's an evening event that will engage not only the aging population, but the family members and all of those generations on what do you do and what kind of conversations do you have before the crisis happens, all about planning for the future. What do you need to put in place to make sure that you can age in that right place within your community and still be a viable part of the community? This year, we're actually taking a different turn and really looking at the issues of anxiety and depression. We have Kevin Mannix coming as our keynote speaker. Then we have a panel of local experts and storytellers, because the stories that people tell, as you've heard tonight, are the most compelling way to really learn and engage. Then in fall, we have a day-long symposium, again, focusing on different aspects. We brought together, we've had Dr. Singer from Acadia Hospital. We had all the speakers, Jess Mauer, all the key leaders in aging in the state of Maine have come, Len Kay, to really add their expertise on the different aspects of what is aging in place, what is the right place to age. We did a whole panel on all the different village models, and had people from the Village to Village original site in Boston, AARP, Bodenham. We will work with communities. If you're interested in having a livable communities assessment done, we are very pleased to partner with you. And if you want us to do that, then we go out and get the grant funding to do the assessment, come in, work with the town and your community members. So we are a resource to your community that augments and enhances what your local organizations can do. Any questions?
You must get federal and state funding.
Okay, we get through the Older Americans Act for the Title III-C programs, senior nutrition, which is Meals on Wheels and congregate dining, aging and disability resource counseling, evidence-based programming, and family support. It's a pass-through through the Office of Elder Services. The only way we get any state funding is if we go just like everybody else and apply for a state grant. We are not a state-funded organization. We are not a local.
But who pays the staff? I mean, you're not paying it with the $500, obviously.
No. The staff are paid. We have a whole component of programs that are fee-for-service. We have Bridges, which is a in-home care program. The center itself, I have to fundraise and meet a budget, and I have to be self-sustaining. So unless I can meet that budget, and that includes, just to open our doors in Damerscott, $146,000 a year. So I'm charged with putting together programs, services, fundraisers, and events that will be sustainable. Our case management, community case, there's all kinds of, we have a telehealth program. So there's 2 components. The one is fee-for-service, which is, and then what we try to do is with the federally mandated programs, that's where those $500 help us add additional services to that. We can't enhance everything. With sequestration, we were actually cut back 9%. We're still dealing with that. Last year, right in the middle of the year, in March, they cut another $39,000 out of the Meals on Wheels budget. I recognize that here you do your own meals program, but it's the amount of money that is actually through the Older Americans Act continues to decrease. It's only now about 30% of our budget. And we have to raise all the rest of the budget, just like any other nonprofit, fee-for-services, fundraisers, special events, and community support. And the municipal funding is one of those areas that really is vital and important to us to not have to have waiting lists and cut back on services. And that's really, instead of being able to respond quickly, the less money we have, the longer the wait to provide a service.
Understand.
So we appreciate your support and hope you will consider us favorably this year. And I can answer any other questions if you just give me a call.
No, I think we're good. Thank you very much.
I really don't, you all know who I am, Debbie Mullen, Boothbay Region Seniors. I just wanted to say hi. We've been doing this for 30-some-odd years, since the 70s, I guess it's longer than that, 30-some-odd years. And it's wonderful to get the support from the towns. You have nice papers that I sent you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Can I make one little add?
Absolutely.
Elected to our board of directors this fall was Jerry Hummer from the town of Boothbay. So we now have a board member from Boothbay. He sends his apologies. He is wanting to be here, but not here.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I'm certainly glad you cleared the room.
So am I, to be honest with you.
You did a fine job.
But I'm only gonna fill another room some other day, so it's all right.
At least you'll be able to breathe.
Back to the scary part of the, any discussion on anything we hear? This is,
Swing was here.
I know.
He's not here anymore. I'm curious why the cemetery district went up. $3,000, that's all. I mean, that would be something you could find out, I'm sure, unless they've already explained that to you.
No, no.
Yeah, because he was here, I don't know, got too late or whatever, but.
Right.
But these.
Knowing
decisions-
Swing,
Huh?
I'm willing to bet he was here for another reason.
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably.
I'm sure, but I mean, he's still on the cemetery district, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you would just be curious. It's been 15,000 for a long time.
It has. So we've got all the information, we're not making any decisions on these tonight, correct?
Correct.
So, off to the next part of the scary part of the evening is public comment again. So is there anybody else in the audience that would like to comment about anything particular? Wow, it's quiet. All right, I guess
Under the public comment, we ought to discuss where we're gonna have our
yes,
meeting.
matter of
on
fact, I was
that.
just thinking that a minute ago too. We need to either make a decision or at least have Dan do some research
I think
for
he
us.
needs to try to get the elementary school, that should be our first priority. Plenty of room.
I would suggest you give me maybe 3 or 4 different venues in a descending order.
I would check with the Railway Village first.
Well, do we know how many that will hold? Because John counted the number of people,
Yeah.
137.
No, he said 150.
157, sorry.
That's in this building alone. If we get that, I still think you're gonna be,
It's a question to ask. It's how many it'll hold.
Right, and if you advertise more, I think you're gonna get well over 200.
Yeah.
I don't wanna put us back in a situation where we're right back into,
Nor do I.
There's a lot of people I know that will attend that meeting once it's advertised.
So,
I would suggest that if you're looking for a larger venue and are worried about that, then either the school or the Opera House.
the grammar school makes the most sense. It's got an elevator, it's got everything. It's
that's what I'm thinking about. You
adequately lit.
have lit parking lots, you have lit walkways, sound system. I'm sorry, but tax dollars are already,
And at one time, we know we put over 300 people in there.
Uh-huh.
yes, we did.
So grammar school, high school?
Grammar
1, 2?
school probably would be the
Grammar
most
school.
sense.
Grammar school.
I don't know.
We
what-
got the
number one.
auditorium.
I know, I was
Yeah,
wondering.
but the
auditorium
auditorium
at the high
doesn't
school.
hold a real lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
West Park, which is the elementary school, the school buses park.
What's that?
Did you say elementary or high
No,
school?
they were talking about the auditorium in the high school, and that's not that big.
I'm thinking the gymnasium.
Yeah, the gymnasium in the grammar school, gym in the high school. one or
Should
the
we
other.
go elementary, high school, is that?
Elementary would
number
make the
one,
most
number
sense,
2?
probably.
Well, I'm just, if for whatever reason there's an event,
They got
or,
something going on at one of the schools, yeah.
is that 1, 2?
Yeah, and then our town hall would have to be
Number
Or the
3.
Opera
Or the
House.
Opera House.
The Opera House can hold about 300, you know, if you open the balconies.
Do they have enough chairs? And they must.
Oh, yeah.
So what do we plan on in that order
What do we set
then?
up for a town meeting at the town hall? What do we set up for?
100?
125, I think is what,
Is that
the
capacity?
chairs that they set up in there.
Yeah, we just,
Without the balcony, I think it's 125 on the main floor.
we don't get the turnout. That's why we stopped having them. And, I mean, if we get a turnout like tonight, every town meeting, that'd be great.
And there's not
That-
currently anything at the Botanical Gardens big enough.
That wasn't the main reason for stopping. We stopped because the people said they wanted it on the
Right.
ballot.
Right.
But the topic of discussion originally was because we don't get a turnout.
So it's one side of any argument can flood a room, and then all of a sudden
Right.
things change.
When you get
So anyways-
60 to 80 people to the town meeting, and if you have it on secret ballot, you get 400, 500, 600 voters.
So grammar school, high school,
BRES,
Opera House.
BRHS, Opera House, then
That's the
town-
3.
Okay.
Out of the 3, we ought to get lucky on one of them.
I would hope we would.
Yes.
Excuse me, the Legion Hall work for all this? Any of this?
I'm not sure that it would hold enough.
Right.
Because
We're right back
when I
to
was up there
the
for
town.
Steve Rennie's funeral,
Yeah.
we were standing outside.
And you're right,
I
parking
think
becomes
we
an issue
got,
too.
actually, I think we got like 6.3 million reasons why we ought to have it at the grammar school.
Well, that's, I always revert back to that.
Just saying.
I'd get in touch with Eileen, Dan.
Yep, I'll follow the chain. I would
And I
imagine
hate
that-
to say it this way, I'm not trying to put too much of a fire, but we need to have this sooner than later, commit and get it advertised, so. the
Put it as
masses-
a public notice in the register.
Yeah, the masses know where to go.
So, are we talking about before next selectmen's meeting? or-
No, I think you have to advertise before it's
Yeah,
next.
'cause it's
select-
for
Yeah, because the
March
next
9th.
selectmen's
That's
meeting.
But I mean,
we don't
that's,
have-
that's what you don't want it ahead of time, is what I'm asking.
I would
I'll
love to.
find
I
out
would-
from Eileen tomorrow.
I would love
Yeah,
to see
well, I'll
it.
get confirmation on the site,
And then get with
for
Bill
sure.
as soon as you find out, and he can put it in the register.
Even online,
and we can put it on our site.
That will give 2 weeks.
right, but I would love to see it, like, I hate to say it, but it's slapped across the front page of the front page of next week's register. Nobody can say we didn't advertise at that
I
point.
think with the
We're not
crowd that
accused
we
of
had
anything.
tonight, it will probably already be on the front page of the register, would be a pretty safe to say.
I'd say 3/4.
Above the fold?
I think your advertising's already done, it's started.
I think you're already on Facebook. I just-
Absolutely.
Facebook, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So, I should probably have a clear agenda then, unless there's something pressing.
Yeah, probably, huh? At some point, we've got to,
We gotta
we've
get
got to
into,
do the budget.
we gotta get into our budget. I don't know. if
I'm
we-
just, I'm sending that out electronically, and I want you.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Can we do a regular, maybe a regular scheduled meeting here from 6, and then at 7?
At 6 o'clock, we,
Just recess and go
And then we,
continue it down.
right, we recess and continue on, and that way we can work on budget, and then we can,
Yeah, but for 1 hour isn't gonna give you much.
I don't, unless you wanna do a separate meeting just
When's
on
the-
budget.
When's the-
Or a separate meeting, no.
Because we have to have public hearings on the budget, too.
yeah, but we can.
We have still have plenty of time for that?
Yep,
Okay.
I
so,
think we're committed to the 9th.
Oh, absolutely. I think we go and do what we need to do there and do what has to be done for an agenda, and then we take up the budget. Just plan for a long night, the second one in March.
Good.
I don't think we have any other choice.
I don't either. Agreed?
Agreed.
I'm gonna be here.
Uh,
I'll be in Florida.
Dodging the bullet. All right, so.
Part-time selectman.
I guess I will entertain a motion to review the warrants and sign.
So moved.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
All those in favor? So moved.